Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Football RPG. I'm Mike, that's David, and today we're going over what the J.K. Dobbins signing does for RJ Harvey. David, what are your initial thoughts? $5.25 million, same ballpark as Najee Harris and Nick Chubb.
So based on that money, and we need to go with the disclaimer, the first number that comes out is always a little bit boosted by the agent. As of this posting, we don't know the full structuring. Maybe it's highly incentive-laden. But based on what we know right now, that number tells me Dobbins is going to have a pretty decent role in this offense, and he's going to see a bit more touches than anyone would like, especially Harvey owners out there. This is why I've kind of been off him for most of the offseason. The best sales pitch for him has always been no one else is there. But the fact of the matter is, in today's NFL, there are more starting caliber running backs than there are starting running back jobs, which is why a guy like Dobbins can sign in the middle of June, be projected for a pretty big workload, and frankly, impact what Harvey's going to do. So anyone drafting him like at the mid first, late first, that was always a reach, and this is exactly why.
Yeah, I don't like drafting rookies purely off of situation. I mean, once you get to the third and fourth round, if there's a running back that you see a path to volume, it's pretty easy. That makes sense. But pulling up some ADP data for redraft here, I can't quite find RJ Harvey, but he's going off the board as RB16 in underdog drafts. Dynasty, he was going mid to late first, depending on where you're drafting and what your league mates were doing. Some go 105 in one league because guy really believed in him. So with that, we think the touches are going to go down. I think his redraft price will now become a little more palatable. PPR leagues, he's going to still get the valuable touches. Like J.K. Dobbins is not a pass-catching threat. Audric Estime is not a pass-catching threat. Just the touches are going to go down a little bit. So instead of having him as a fringe top 12 guy, let's keep him comfortably in RB2 territory, maybe bump him down a little bit more. I mean, some of the names that were going around and we're talking about Alvin Kamara, Kenneth Walker, both going after him, James Conner going after him. How do you feel about either you're a win now team or in a redraft league, RJ Harvey versus those guys?
I'd be taking all those guys except for maybe Walker over Harvey, and I wouldn't think twice about it. Walker, Evan mentioned it in a few episodes. He's talked me off Kenneth Walker. I do think Charbonnet is going to see a bit more work. Yeah, I know. Evan's very good at the sales pitch, but Kamara, it's not a question for me. I know that offense is going to be terrible, but at the end of the day, he's the only running back worth mentioning there. We know he can do it. He's on the older side, but he's not out of gas yet, and it's either going to be Rattler or Shuck. They're going to be checking the ball down a lot, so he's going to get a lot of volume in that sense. James Conner just does not age. He's fantastic. Every year we overlook him. Every year he outperforms ADP. I mean, his 2018 Steelers days are gone, but he's still going to be a really good high-end RB2. I don't see a path for Harvey to get there without injuries to Dobbins, which, let's be fair, that could happen.
It could certainly happen. I'm still willing to draft RJ Harvey, and I think this is probably going to be good for the guys that are super tuned in now that are listening to shows like this. RJ Harvey, explosive plays will be there. Pass catching will be there. And now you can get him probably outside of the top 20 running backs. I know you're not the biggest Harvey guy in the world, but if he dips down to RB 21, 22, if he starts going in the DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard range.
See, now that's the price I think he should have been at this entire time. I'm more than happy to roll those dice there. Anyone that's been following along for the while knows I'm not the biggest Harvey guy, but I can't deny second-round draft capital behind a good offensive line with a coach that really likes to run the ball and has a good system for doing it. I think it's going to be a bit of a mess with Dobbins taking early work, Harvey taking the passing stuff, and Estime kind of ruining everybody with goal line touches, and McLaughlin's probably going to get a few looks too. So there's four mouths to feed. Dobbins and Harvey will get most of it, but it's still going to be a path to like low-end RB2 for a prospect I wasn't that high on.
Yeah. I think what's funny about this whole situation is that guys were overdrafting him because of situation. Even when you're talking to them, they're like, yeah, I believe in RJ Harvey, but Sean Payton offense, no one to compete with him. And then June rolls around. There's running backs getting signed still. I think Dobbins was the last one worth noting, though, unless you're really a Gus Edwards fan. But
yeah, nobody should be a Gus Edwards fan anymore. Chubb's in Houston, and he's probably not going to do much, but at least there was a path to greatness for him just based on who he was. I can't think of any other running back. So astonishingly, DeAndre Swift, congrats for making it to the finish line, man. You've done it.
He's done it. This is huge for the Roschon Johnson lovers out there. But let's talk about, does Dobbins have standalone fantasy football value this year? You're on a bye week. Both him and Harvey are active. Are you plugging him in as like a desperation RB2, or is this purely a handcuff?
I think I wouldn't be happy about playing him. Let's put it that way. But I think I could do it and be fine. He's going to be the lead back. I fully expect it to be mostly him getting the carries. As mentioned before, it's a good offensive line. It's a good offense. Bo Nix likes throwing to the running back, so if Dobbins is out on the field, he's not going to catch too many passes, but Nix is probably going to give him 1 or 2 targets more than he'd get in a situation-neutral offense, which if you're looking for an RB2 or a flex play, that does matter. And I think Dobbins has what it takes to be the poor man's Mark Ingram to Harvey's poor man's Kamara.
How exciting. The Broncos last year had 461 rush attempts. So let's take that over 18 or 17 games. I was going to do 18 weeks, but that would have been silly. So we're talking about 27 carries to go around per game. Last year, there wasn't anybody that was really like dominating those touches. It was really just a gross conglomeration. I mean, nobody had over 150 attempts. Bo Nix himself had 92, so there goes a ton off the top. Are either of these guys going to get more than 10 carries a game, or is it just going to be, 9 and 7 with some targets sprinkled in?
I think it'd be probably like 12 for Dobbins, 5 or 6 for Harvey. That number will go up as the season continues, and Harvey will get a few targets per game. Estime will ruin everybody's life with a goal line touchdown, vulturing it from one of those two. And McLaughlin will probably get some garbage time, like checkdowns you'd want Harvey to get.
Yep. It's just going to be all of them eating into each other. I still believe in RJ Harvey, and I think this is going to make his price more palatable, but obviously you are big on the J.K. Dobbins train here.
Well, I am and I'm not. I'm not saying Dobbins is great. I'm just saying this is going to bring Harvey down to where he should have been the entire time.
Very fair. Anything else you want to talk about? Do you think this signals anything for the passing game, or is just Bo Nix?
I think it's more, if you wanted to really panic, you'd see Sean Payton do this after Harvey's had his practice and says, oh no, we need help right now. I think that's a bit of an overreaction. They don't have an established back. They could use one this entire time. Dobbins came at a reasonable price. So if anyone's really panicking, trying to connect those dots, I'd say that's an overreaction, and that's coming from the podcast's designated RJ Harvey hater.
Yep.
So just let the market correct itself. We're going to be where we always were.
Sounds good. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG Podcast. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to check out written content, head over to lastwordonsports.com.
Don't let the goblins get you.